fucking roof off. I said I would be begging him to come back and do a longer spot. I begged and here he is. So please, can we have a Elon Musk snooker ball at the arsehole, round of applause. Please raise the roof for the fabulous Mr. Harry Jenkins.
But I think we should address the elephant in the room. Did he say Mentos? That's thrown me, that. It's Mentos, isn't it? Yeah. Okay, I just wanted to clarify that I haven't gone fucking insane. Mentos. That is wild. I like you two in the royal box.
Oh, do you?
No, I love it. You've just gone.
With the spoons.
Do you know what? Just by hearing you say that sentence, I can tell. It's lovely. I did this gig last year. I loved it. I had such a good time. I remember being quite nervous because all of my material back then was almost exclusively about my disdain for old people.
Don't you dare!
And I remember walking into the side of the room, seeing the sides of everyone's heads and thinking, I'm in trouble here. You were great. This is good. This is a lovely gig because I've been doing some big fires of gigs lately. Alright, last Friday I was in Macclesfield and a fight broke out in the first 30 seconds. Which I hear is on brand for the area. So this is instantly going better. Since doing comedy, the question I get asked more than any other question is, where's the worst place to do comedy? More than any, that's what I get. And generally speaking, if you ask comedians on the circuit who've been doing it for 20 years, 30 years, the consensus is Portsmouth. I've got no idea why. I've never gigged in Portsmouth, so I'm not going to stand here and slag off Portsmouth, because I think that'd be rude, but I can slag off where I think the worst place to do comedy is in the entire country, and that place is a place called Clacton-on-Sea. Now, for those of you who don't know what Clacton-on-Sea is, Clacton-on-Sea is a lovely little seaside town on the south coast, lovely idyllic English town. Looks like the type of place your mum or your nan would have taken you, you know, chips and seagulls and stuff like that. But more notably, it is also the place that voted Nigel Farage instead last July. He is a hero there, ladies and gentlemen. They have got a statue of him up basically already. He is a total hero. And that is where I did comedy last year. I don't know if any of you in this room have ever been given the task of trying to entertain a room of people who have collectively given up. Let me say, that is a tough gig. Has anyone here ever tried to bring happiness to the unloved? It is the impossible job. Because you get taught from a young age that laughter is the best medicine, don't you? Because it's a lovely phrase, because it's true. It is the best medicine, it's universally accepted. But I found out on the 15th of October last year that phrase has not quite reached Clacton. That place is terminally ill. It's a totally joyless place. Honestly, comedy there is like trying to perform heart surgery with a whisk. It's a famously tough gig, right? I was told by comedians to avoid this gig like the plague. But I relished the challenge, because I'm a fucking weirdo. And in the green room, the promoter walked in 5 minutes before the gig, and he's been running this gig for 10 years. And bless his heart, he's just died. That was the ghost of Clacton. He's been running the gig for 10 years, and bless his heart, he needs to stop. He needs to stop immediately. Because you can't run comedy in Clacton, can you? That is like running a Black Lives Matter fundraiser in, well, Clacton. Just makes no sense. He walked into the green room and it looks like the gig's got the better of him, honestly. He's got nothing left in the tank. Sort of wandered in lifeless and no colour in his skin. He looked like someone had put a jacket on a cobweb. He sort of had the charisma of, you know, your dressing gown that hangs on the back of the bathroom door? That's sort of the vibe he gave off. And in 2 years of doing comedy, I've never heard this in my life, he walked into the green room and he went, "Comedians, gather round." Like it was the Hunger Games. We were visibly shitting ourselves, I should add. Like the three of us, we were visibly, there was no confidence in the green room. I felt like the whistle was about to go at the song. That's what I was, mentally. He said, "Comedians, gather round." He said, "Whatever you do tonight, don't do anything on Nigel Farage. You will immediately lose the room, and you will ruin the night for everyone." And then he added, "If you want some advice from me in terms of your material, keep it relatable. Don't do anything that makes them feel uncomfortable." And before any of us had a chance to follow up with a question, because I had a few, he disappeared. That's what he said. He said, "Keep it relatable. Don't do anything that makes them feel uncomfortable." He had booked 3 acts that night, ladies and gentlemen. Myself, a Bangladeshi comic who happens to be gay, and a black male from Croydon. I felt like the white sugar babe. What are we supposed to do there? I'm a straight white male, right? I'll probably be fine at that gig. Booking those two, honestly, I think that's a hate crime. Don't do anything that makes them feel uncomfortable. Them being 300 angry, pissed, racist pensioners. Yeah, the headliner, he's a brilliant comic. His entire set is about growing up in Jamaica, right? And he was asked to do a gig in Clacton. I think it would have made them feel more comfortable if he'd have just walked on stage and done a TED talk on the risks of dementia. And that would have gone better for everyone. The gig went fine, so thank you for asking. I got chatting to a man, a local of Clacton after the gig. His name was Roger.
Of course it was.
Yeah, that's the yeah. He's only going to be called Roger, isn't he? 3-piece tweed suit.
Yeah.
And he looked like he had a great credit score. He had those eyebrows that posh old men have, you know, the ones that come off the face. That they can help him see in the dark. You know. He looked like he loves mustard. Do you know what I mean? Have you ever looked at an old man and thought, I bet you fucking love mustard. Like, I like mustard, but Roger loves mustard. Everything that goes in his mouth is fucking lathered in mustard. Every type of mustard imaginable. Just English mustard, whole grain mustard, but never Dijon because it's French. Good old Rog. Rog the Tosh. Terrible racist, you know. Terrible racist, but he bought around, so that's where my morals stopped. He can say what he likes. I know I said my material used to be about my disdain for old people, but unfortunately this is where that continues. Because I am done with old people, I am. I've washed my hands with them. I'm sorry if you know one. I think it's mutual though, I really do. I think the older generations don't like my generation, and my generation certainly don't like them. I do think it is mutual, so I think it's fair. For me, the relationship was broken beyond repair last July, when they all unanimously got behind the idea of compulsory national service without consulting us. That was a dark week, finding out that I was quite close and joining the army against my will. My 96-year-old great aunt, she laughed in my face that day. She gleefully, she leant into me and she went, "Harry, you won't last a day on the front line." I saw red. Honestly, I saw red. I'm not proud of it. I saw red. I said, "Auntie Barbara, that might be the case, but I should remind you, neither did both your brothers." Now, hey, right, calm down. Ladies and gentlemen, unfortunately in life, Auntie Barbara needs to understand that sometimes when you chat shit, you're gonna get banged, okay? Am I right? You know? Especially when you're dealing with a baby-faced killer. So, Auntie Barbara needs to join the knife fight with a better weapon. That's what I'm saying. Stupid bitch. She's not real. She's not real. The Times reported last week, I'm not sure if any of you saw this, on the front page of their newspaper, said that only 1 in 10 Gen Zers would risk their life for this country. And the tone of the article was that they were shocked. They couldn't believe it. Only 1 in 10 Gen Zers would risk their life for this country. I'd like to speak to that one. A little fucking brown nose. Who is that lunatic? Right, I think before any of us have a grown-up conversation about me and my peers going to lay down our lives for this country, I think it would be fair to ask for some terms and conditions. You know, what's in it for us? You know, why would I go and do it? Like, all right, so call me a maverick. I'll start. How about the chance of a mortgage? Is that mental? So that's fair, isn't it? You're that pie in the sky. I'm desperate for a mortgage, Wrexham. I'm desperate. Do you know, if the army could guarantee me a mortgage, I'd get my knob out in Syria tomorrow. And absolutely, I'll do anything for it. If they could guarantee me a mortgage, 20-year deal, good rate, with a reliable lender, I'd do the windmill in front of a suicide bomber. I would. I'd do anything. I can't join the army, look at me. Fucking look at me. I can't go to the desert and fight for your liberty. I wear daily contact lenses. It wouldn't be ISIS that wiped me out, it'd be a gust of wind. Just one light sandstorm and I'd be fucked. I wouldn't last a day on the trenches. Right, it took my girlfriend 2 years to stop me screaming, "Yes, chef," when the microwave pinged. That's not very Hellman province, is it? The British Army is not looking for this calibre of man, is it? Right, the British Army is not looking for a man who will only eat cereal if his favourite spoon is available. Just not happening, is it? I keep seeing that recruitment advert, you know, if you can fix a bike, you can fix a submarine. I've just learned how to use a dishwasher. Yeah, do you know what? Maybe one day I could be taught to fix a bike. Maybe. A submarine, you can all go suck your mothers. There's absolutely no... Also, that advert is inherently flawed, isn't it? It makes no sense. Because if you were taught to fix a bike, the obvious next step, I feel, isn't a submarine. That feels like a tough second day at work. You know, feels like a bit of a leap, that, doesn't it? I think I'd stay away from the U-boats if I'd just been taught to fix a fucking tricycle. I think if I was taught to fix a bike, I think maybe the obvious step probably fix another bike. Do you know what I mean? Just check it's not a fluke. I suppose what I'm trying to say is if there is a war, Wrexham, God forbid, I would like it on the record that I would like to stay at home. And make the coffin. And have a lovely pick of all the lovely widows. You know. And that's more my vibe. Did that joke last night and a woman winked at me when I said that. It's absolutely scarred. Thank you that no one winked there. I think the reason I'm not built for the army is because I love pints. Just love the pub. And I saw how this venue cleared out in that interval. Fuck me, it was like a fire alarm. There wasn't one of you here. It was a bomb scare. My local is my safe place. It's a lovely pub. It's called the Sally Park Tavern. It's got those 4 people that sit there all day. Every pub's got those people. You know, they're in at 12, they're out at 10. You know, every pub's got them. If you can't think of those people in your pub, might be you. But my fault, well there was 4, but there is 3 now. There was a guy called Dave the Book, and this is totally true, his name was Dave the Book, he was one of the 4 that was there. But Dave the Book in November killed himself. I know, because his ex-wife was about to out him as a sex offender. He was in his 70s, and he was on the sex offenders, and his ex-wife was going to out him. So he killed himself before he could face the shame, which is a tragedy in itself, because Dave the Book used to look after the pub quiz, It's just not been the same without it. If you don't mind me saying, he did a bloody good job of it. But the leader of Take Twat is a guy called Clever Trevor, and Clever Trevor is not a clever man. He's a total idiot. Clever Trevor is one of those awful pub bores. I asked him at the bar what he thought about Gaza, and he said, without stuttering, that that Gaza was the greatest player to ever play football for England. He's a dreadful man. Clever Trevor is a fascinating bloke. He has built his entire personality around his hatred for halal. He hates halal. Like, he shouts at food as it comes out of the kitchen. He also shouts at pigeons, but that's another thing. He hates halal. I've always been fascinated by people who don't like halal, because I'm from Birmingham, so it's not an issue. Right? He has that sort of cockiness, as if the meat that he eats has arrived on his plate by way of the animal being tickled to death. But I'm friends with a Syrian refugee because, like I said, I'm from Birmingham, and he's wicked, man, and he's a proper refugee. He came here on a lorry with his brothers, like genuinely proper. It's totally true. He's one of those awful ones that works really hard and has 4 jobs. His first job when he came to England was working in a halal abattoir. And I was talking to him one day, and I said to him, "Look, mate, I feel like there's a lot of negative thoughts and discourse about halal. Right? You tell me what actually is the truth about it, because I think people don't even know actually what halal is." And what he told me, Wrexham, nothing in my entire life could have ever prepared me for. And I challenge every single one of you to guess the ending to this story, because I think it's gorgeous. He said to me that whilst it is true, halal meat in its purest form is when the animal drains. Hang himself to drain. He said, realistically, in England, most halal abattoirs, they kill the animal exactly the same way that our abattoirs do, right? Because they can't keep up with the demand and all sorts of logistical reasons. So I said to him, well, how does that make the halal meat halal? Aren't you just conning people? Aren't you just scam artists? He went, no. Because the other thing that makes halal meat halal is it has to be blessed. It's called a bismillah. Right? It means in the eyes of God. And a bloke stands there all day and he blesses the meats on the carcasses, and that makes it halal. And I said, bloody hell. That sounds like a tough day at work for that bloke. Just standing there all day, just bismillah in the meat, one by one bismillah, bismillah. Another passage. He went, yeah, it was. He actually handed his notice in, because he couldn't keep up with the demand. He was too stressed. I said, well, how does the halal meat, how is it halal if you weren't bismillahing it, if you weren't draining it? Aren't you just scam artists? He said, no. Because the owners of the abattoir invested in some surround sound speakers. And on the bloke's last day, they got him to read the bismillah into a phone. This is totally true. And then they played it on repeat on the speakers all day long, just the same passage from the Quran. I said, Jesus. He went, no, hello, actually. That sounds like a shift from hell. You just stood there doing your things, and that same thing's on repeat. That sounds like a horrible shift. That's like torture, isn't it? It's like hypnotic. You go mad. And he went, yeah, it was actually. And I probably shouldn't tell you this, but most days we just put smooth radio on. It's just beautiful, isn't it? So the reason I'm telling you this is because next time you see halal meat, don't be scared, because that meat has been blessed by Marvin Gaye. Who would have thought, though, innit? Islam putting the Abba in abattoir. Absolutely stunning. Death to the Westlife at the moment. It's good, that story, because no one knows quite where it's going. I've got to go back to Birmingham, sadly. No, it's not pantomime, dickheads. We're in trouble in Birmingham. We're a bankrupt council, £1.5 billion in debt. But if you are worried, please don't be, because they've had a meeting. And they're going to dim the street lights. That's their number one suggestion, they're going to dim the street lights. Yeah, £500,000 they spend on administrators. And that is their number one suggestion. It's not going to work, is it? It's like turning up to the site of an earthquake with a Henry Hoover. So we're fucked. It's nice to be in Wrexham. I'm going to leave you with one final bit of positivity, because apparently I'm miserable, apparently. Which I object to.